today on modern ERP solutions. I have a few housekeeping items to go over. We will be recording this session to post on our website, so if you would like to share today's information or revisit it, you'll be able to do so. Also, we will have a Q&A at the end of our webinar today. So feel free to submit questions throughout the presentation. Just type them into the control panel on your screen. We'll do our best to answer all of the questions at the end. I am pleased to welcome Jennifer Kalister of Revolution Group and Tony Brown of EG Industries as they discuss ERP solutions today. For those of you who don't know us, Revolution Group is a Central Ohio-based technology solutions provider founded in 1995. Our partnerships with Plex, Salesforce, Adaptive Planning, and Microsoft allow us the expertise and resources necessary to facilitate our customers' growth. We have been extremely successful in helping our customers leverage technology to revolutionize their supply chains and improve their businesses. On our staff, we are privileged to have ERP consultants, custom developers, and ERP analysts with years of manufacturing and supply chain experience. Jennifer Kalister is an ERP consultant with Revolution Group and has years of leadership experience in business process improvement, finance, and ERP deployment. Her in-depth expertise in deploying fully integrated solutions helps our customers leverage technologies and best practices to grow and transform their businesses. Tony Brown is Director of IT and IS Systems for EG Industries. In his role, he oversees the upgrading of network infrastructure for all of EG Industries' North American facilities and supports new ERP implementations at EG Industries' 13 facilities across the U.S. Tony has spearheaded EG's move from an old, outdated infrastructure to a cloud-based ERP solution offered by Plex Systems, and successfully implemented the Plex Manufacturing Cloud in 7 of EG Industries' plants. It is now my pleasure to introduce Jennifer Kalister.
Thank you for the introduction, Ruthie. Today I just want to start with a little bit of research. In February 2015, Gartner released a report regarding postmodern ERP. It explains what steps need to be taken in order for companies to align their business with current market trends. Gartner covers how to implement new technologies, and the report specifically focuses on ERP software. Two main points were emphasized in the report. The first one is to review your current ERP system and your strategy related to it. And the second thing is to adopt cloud integration technologies. So we here at Revolution Group believe that these steps not only help your company become more efficient, more cost-effective, and competitive, but they're actually vital to your company moving into the future. So today we will learn about the benefits and advantages gained by moving your critical systems out of your offices, data centers, and sometimes even storage closets, you know who you are, and into the cloud. Also, by the end of this presentation, you will be able to make an informed decision on what cloud solution will be best for you based on where the future of ERP is headed. Although much of the information provided is directed at CIOs and technical leaders, if you do not fall within that audience, don't worry. All decision makers within an organization need to be aware of the shift from desktop, single-use installed software to more modern utilities such as ERP cloud solutions. So we'll go easy on you when it comes to tech speak. So I have 3 goals for today's webinar. The first is that we want to teach you how to assess your current ERP and or your software systems. The second is we want to let you know which features are available within the world of modern ERP. And the third is what you should look for when you're selecting a new ERP cloud system. That being said, let's start with a little basic information for those of us who are not CIOs. So the first is, what is an ERP? For those of you who do not know, ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, which is a process software that allows a business to manage its activities. So the software integrates both back and front office transactions. Modules within the software can range anywhere from shop floor to human resources, from shipping to receiving, and from quality to accounting. With that little bit of background info, let's return to our first Gartner goal, which was reviewing and updating our ERP strategy. So in order to accomplish this first task, you need to first ask yourself, what are all the systems that you're currently using and for what purposes? So you'll want to do the following. The first is you want to make a list of all the gaps within your current software or software systems that you're currently using and what benefits you would like to retain if you switch to a new solution. The second is to interview your end users to determine what day-to-day activities they have in using your current software. So this is to make sure that you don't overlook any important deals that you may or may not see at your management level. And the third is to think outside the box a little bit. So in a perfect world, what would be great if your ERP could handle? An example would be we would love to have full traceability from finished goods all the way back to purchase components. So put that on your list. Then you can look at other solutions. So the second question is, what other systems are available? To complete an effective comparison, the first you want to do is draw up an analysis of what systems are available. So what systems are available in general and what systems are available to your specific market. The second thing is you'll want to ask other people in your industry what software that they use, what rave reviews or even deep concerns they have about the software. Then you're going to want to cruise your software provider's website or set up a call with a sales rep in order to get your questions answered. The thing you need to remember is to pay close attention to your benefits and gap analysis when you're comparing to each ERP solution. If you're not quite sure where to start in your analysis, by the end of this presentation, you will know what qualities a great cloud ERP has, as well as what features may be beneficial to your company. This may be a good time to take out some note paper or just open your text editor so you can remember what makes a great ERP. This will assist in building your own company's analysis. So now that you know what an ERP system is, let's expand a bit and discuss what the heck a cloud ERP solution actually is. So you cannot watch a television show today or shop online without hearing or seeing the buzzword cloud on at least one commercial or ad. If we have some CIOs or technical people on the line, you know cloud is just a fancy way to say computer sharing resources via the internet instead of having local computers and devices handling data and applications on site. So when we're talking about switching to an ERP cloud system, we mean that instead of ordering a software disk, installing it on your desktop, and managing it on your computer and or servers, you'll be using what's called software as a service, or SaaS, which is another term you might have heard. ERP cloud solutions are types of SaaS and are hosted by a service provider and made available to you over the internet. That being said, the second suggestion made by Gartner's is to adopt cloud integration technologies. So before we can adopt a new technology, we need to understand our units of measure and what benefits that we can hope to achieve with each. So I've come up with 9 here. The bulk of this presentation will be going through point by point these 9 topics and discussing the benefits of each. So the first one on the list is regarding network configuration. So network configuration is how you set up and access the system. So I have 2 points here. The first one is access via the internet. So instead of having software on your own computer, you actually access your information via the internet using a login from different devices that include desktops, laptops, tablets, and even cell phones. The benefit is you can work from any device that is compatible. If you forgot to check something before you left work, if your computer or if your company allows access to do that from home, you can do that from home. That also depends on if you want to do it from home. The second is installation, which there's basically none. You access the system via a web browser. So it's basically a website. In many instances, all you need to access the system is a URL, which is your website address, and your login. There are times before initial login when you need to configure your browser to allow pop-ups or update security settings, but many ERP providers provide auto-configuration, so you don't have to figure that out yourself. Obviously, the benefit here is that you can save the URL in your browser as you do some of your favorite pages, and you just need to remember your password. It's pretty easy. However, just remember that deploying the system and learning how to use it varies greatly depending on the solution and how customized the solution can be towards your business. So we're just talking about access here. The second unit of measure is availability. Availability is the amount of time a system is working and is fully functional during the time that it is required to do so. The first point here is 24/7, anywhere with access. So there are no business hours. Basically, a portal door is always open. As stated above, you can work from wherever, whenever, in any time zone, and you don't have to worry about your company personnel or data center becoming unavailable. Your data is stored in a data center, not on your premises. The second point is instantaneous availability and responsiveness. Again, you can access your data right away without delay. Response times are as quick as a website loading, even when all employees are running transactions at the same time. The benefit is no need to wait for software upgrades, data to load, or for someone to get to work in order to log in and see the data. All of your information is there right away as soon as you log in. You can see what others are doing as they're doing it if you have the access. Another point is uptime, which is the same theme above. Many SaaS options offer 99.98% uptime, meaning that their servers are down or going through maintenance less than 0.02% of the time. The benefit here is you don't have to worry about your data not being there when you want to use it. 99.98% is usually a pretty greater percentage of availability than you having your own storage facility. When you have your own storage facility, when you're down, you are down, and you have to wait on whoever you call to come to fix your servers, which causes major business interruption. And the last point on this topic is real-time data. Everything happens in real time. Your benefit is you don't have to wait for uploads, data imports, or rollovers. The data comes in as it comes in, as if somebody were to scan a product in your receiving dock at 11:30 p.m., you are going to see that receipt exactly at 11:30 p.m. Okay, our third unit of measure is manageability, which is the level of human effort required to keep the system operating. So the first point is software management. SaaS systems are managed by the service provider. So you will only need one in-house employee who knows how to use the system, but no longer need someone who maintains your server hardware. Second is updates. Updates are done system-wide, and most often this will happen to all users at once without any input from you. So you don't need to order installation disks or upgrade disks and have someone in-house upgrade your software. You should be getting the latest release of the software as soon as they release it without having to wait for updates. The third is monitoring. The service provider monitors the system for you, protects you from hacks, watches uptime, and watches the system's peaks and valleys. So there's no need to call your IT guy at 5 p.m. on a Friday because your software stopped working or your servers are down. Another point is user communities. Many ERP solutions have user groups or communities where users can discuss the software. Often, both everyday customer users as well as employees who work for the service provider log in to assist each other. Often, they post training documentation, webinars, PowerPoints, and discuss current topics and advancement. The benefit here is that you have access to a library of information regarding your system. You have the ability to connect with others within the system's user base as well as within your own industry. Okay. Another measurement of a successful ERP system is the hardware and software. So you should see decreased expenses when implementing a cloud ERP solution. So you no longer need the hardware and servers for ERP storage, and you no longer need to kill hundreds of trees because everything is presented and stored online. Everything is accessible to anyone with the rights to see that data. So your benefit is saving money and not having to update hardware every 3 years as required in technology. You're also going to be saving admin costs because you no longer need to print shop floor docs or admin reports unless they're required by your business. Another is software licenses. You no longer need to manage physical software licenses. You can throw away your old library of software disks. All users are basically assigned online on the website. The third point is consolidation. A good ERP will reduce the amount of total software you use for all aspects of your business. It should have a wide range of modules for different departmental use. If there is something the software lacks, often ERPs will connect to other software, such as Salesforce via an API or IT integration. The benefit here is you decrease expenses in maintaining multiple user licenses of other software and the ability to see all data together in one spot. When data is together, it can be reported on together where you can analyze it then as a whole. Last point on this measurement is advanced technology. Advanced ERP systems allow for the ability to use the newest technology such as Google Glass, wrist and ring scanning devices, location trackers, and voice technology. Some of this stuff is pretty cool. There's no need for employees to enter their inventory location. A device can be made within the employee's vicinity, which lets the system know that the employee is located in that area. Every transaction in the employee process will be tagged with that location code, which avoids manual errors. Also, lightweight, simple ring scanners can be used instead of those bulky handhelds for ease of use in moving and receiving. Okay, the fifth measurement is data retention or storage retention. So the first point, storage. You don't have to worry about how much space you have on your server and or your computer's hard drive. All files and your transactions are stored up in the cloud. So you don't have to worry about running out of room or having to buy more space depending on what solution you choose. The second item is data retention. Your data is always there. You can reference transactions that happened 10 years ago if cloud had been prevalent back then. So let's restate this by saying the benefit is in 10 years you can see the transactions you looked at today. Just make sure that your ERP provider keeps your historical information. Okay, the sixth barometer is disaster recovery. So the first is emergency plan. Your data should be stored in a data center with the proper heating and cooling, top-level security, as well as a proper plan in place in case of emergency situations such as fire, tornado, power outages, etc. Obviously, the benefit is you can rest easy knowing that your data is being protected. There's also redundancy. Many data centers back up their network as well as their data in redundant or two or more multiple data centers. To explain this better, if a data center has a location in California and there's a fire at that location, your provider also might have your data stored in New York City as a backup. The benefit is that you can rest easy knowing that your data can be restored in the case of total destruction, not to be a downer. So the next one is related to security. The first point here is logins. All users should have a unique user ID and password that they use to log in. Everyone has the option of keeping their data secure, and as employees come and go, users' names can be inactivated or activated immediately. The second point is timestamping. So all user transactions can be tracked in the system by name, time, and date. And the benefit here is if something is entered in the system incorrectly, management can see who created the issue, go to that employee, and have them assist them in working out what the solution is. A third point is IP restrictions. So first of all, what is an IP? An IP is basically your computer's street address on the internet. So your solution should be able to lock down certain IP addresses, and only the IP addresses that are allowed in the system can access it. Obviously, the benefit of this is you can control people clocking in from home, and you can block access to the system from computers or areas or regions in which you do not want to give access. The last topic here is permissions and roles. Users can be assigned specific permissions or belong to a role group of users who share permissions. So you can assign a group of employees to a certain work center, but restrict them from others. The CEO can have access to every single module, but accounts payable clerks may only be able to see the invoicing and payment screens. This prevents people from seeing what they shouldn't, and also prevents errors from people altering modules they are not properly trained on. The seventh measurement is scalability. So there's three topics here. The first is data spikes. The service provider manages all the peaks and valleys in your data transactions and maintains stable during high and low transactional times. So you don't have to worry about lag time due to busy times of the day or because someone in another department is bogging down the system. The second is utilization. So you'll have the ability to add and delete users as you need them. So the benefit here is whether you expand your users by 10, 50, 100, or open up shop in a completely different country, your ERP system will be able to scale up and down as your business does. And the third item is platform. So due to an ERP cloud solutions being accessible via the internet and via browsers, they are available cross-platform, as long as there's a way to get to the internet. So if your users are using Mac or PC, they'll be able to access the system. Okay, the last slide here, in point 9, is business management. So there are units of measure that affect the company as a whole, as well as your bottom line. The first one is inventory. So when your data is available in real time, decisions can be made based on today's data and not just when you take physical inventories. So you're going to see cost savings in not having to purchase too much inventory, as well as insight into knowing when you're in need of more. The second one is decreased manual processes. So we talked about this a lot. When there are a lot of manual processes, there's a lot of room for error. The benefit is with everything happening online and with the assistance of scanners, printers, computers, or advanced technology working alongside your employees, there's less room for error. The third is reduction in the usage of your dreaded crystal ball. So you have real reporting right now. The benefit is you can forecast, plan production, look at orders, sales, financial, and budgets while utilizing real-time, real-life data. No guesses are needed anymore. The fourth is supplier customer portals. So your key suppliers and customers could also gain access to your system if you allow them to have that permission. EDI, which stands for Electronic Data Interchange, can be set up with your customers, retailers, dealers, as well as with your suppliers to increase intercompany visibility. I believe Tony has a little bit to say on this topic later. The benefit is you have the ability to work closely with your customer and suppliers so everyone is on the same page as far as orders, releases, and invoicing. The fifth topic is key performance indicators, or KPI. So as I stated above, scheduling, sales, CRM, shipping, quality, finance, sales, maintenance, HR, security, purchasing, and inventory reports can all be pulled in from various areas of the ERP in order to give you information in which to base your important company decisions. The more modules and departments that are included in your one ERP system, the faster and better reporting capability you have. So the benefit goes without saying. You can make decisions based on all of your info in real time. And the last is what I call the eye in the sky. So with all of your departments and modules being in the same system, you have a one-stop shop for complete visibility into your company's activities. The more parts of your business that use the ERP system, the better. So just to review our goals here, I'll be turning over the mic, but I just want to review our goals. I hope this presentation gave you some insight in how to, number one, review your current system, as well as what to look for when you research a modern ERP solution. So now our Revolution Group partner, EG Industries, and Tony Brown can give you some insight as far as how an ERP system improves their day-to-day operations. So take it away, Tony.
Thank you, Jennifer. That was very good, very informative slides.
Thank you.
So my name's Tony Brown, Director of Business Systems IT for EG Industries. EG Industries offers research and development, design, engineering. We do manufacturing production processes, obviously. We support automotive, medical, the energy and life sciences verticals, as well as consumer and industrial customers. Our core competencies is injection molding, chrome plating, coating, powder coating, assembly, packaging, all supported by R&D and program management teams. So you see a couple of our different products down there that are probably very familiar to some of you. A lot of wheel covers, some grills, some chrome plating and such. So next slide. So the example I'd like to talk about in seeing this picture here, I'm currently down in the very small, farther lowest south pin there in Ormond Beach, Florida, where we're actively right now going through a go-live of Plex ERP for our last automotive facility in North America. So we have a lot of what we call sister plants that do a lot of intercompany transactions. and do tier 1 through obviously tier 2 and straight directly to the OEM. So on to the next slide. The example I'll talk about today, in one way our current ERP software has impacted the most in our company, is transforming ourselves from an associate-driven company to a process-driven company, extracting that tribal knowledge. So with tribal knowledge, there comes a lot of experience, a lot of know-how, people that are very, very important to your company. Without good associates, your company's not going to be successful. But that also does create a lot of risk when that person retires or moves on to another company and leaves your company. That knowledge goes with them, and then you've got to kind of start all over. So where we've been driving is standardizing how we do core transactions within Plex at each of our facilities and doing them the same way. So extracting that tribal knowledge and being a process-driven company and letting the system make those decisions for us. Next slide. So the one I'd like to discuss right now is kind of a complicated inventory transaction supply chain management flow of our RT grills that allows us, that we have a facility in Cleveland that does all the chrome plating of that particular part. We molded the part with the subcontractor. Then we moved that back in-house to one of our sister companies. A part of that business was required for us to paint those grills, so we actually subcontracted the paint side, and then obviously it made good business sense for that subcontractor to directly ship it to the customer since they were so much closer than the home facility. So there's a lot of inventory transactions going on, inventory levels at each of the facilities, and we utilized EDI and MRP and Plex in our ERP software to stabilize that. So topic number 1 there, allowing us to automate most data input utilizing EDI. So one of the things that we decided we needed to do, extracting tribal knowledge, was to connect to every EDI capable customer of ours that was capable of doing EDI and making sure that we automated those transactions of shipments and demand with those customers and removing all of the manual data processing required for someone to do. We also, and still continually, drive to push supplier EDI to automate the transactions between the EDI capable or compatible suppliers, and also one that was very, very huge for us, being a cloud solution, was doing intercompany transactions with no data entry required when we shipped product and received product from our sister plants. Improving overall value stream in our supply chain. So by doing that, in the example with the RT grill, we increased visibility at each of those process levels and reduced, and it was able to minimize and go a little more lean on reducing all the inventory fluctuations. When a customer increases demand, we have things like min-max levels built in, lead times built into the different ship tos. Then the system is doing all of that thinking for you and all those calculations for you. When you run MRP, it tells you at each level what you have, what's to be expected based upon run rates, min-max levels, standard order quantities, standard job quantities. All of those things then factor to reduce those fluctuations, which in a traditional ERP, different applications, lots of spreadsheets, lots of phone calls back and forth. People, the tribal knowledges, are making those decisions versus the system. So obviously, most of you know customer demand drives your raw material orders, those intercompany and subcontractor schedules, and drop ship requirements. And with a cloud-based ERP doing those calculations for you, the suppliers, the subcontractors, even the customers, if you want, having access to your system and the visibility to your system reduces those tribal knowledge, transactional thinking, and allows the system to make the decisions. And of course, this is all possible with clean customer demand that's directly tied to the shop floor inventory levels in real time. So Jennifer talked about the traceability piece. When I order a particular resin from a supplier, and that resin has a lot number, that gets molded in our Ontario, Canada facility, that goes to the subcontractor that gets painted. Some of it comes to the Cleveland facility to get chrome plated. All of those grills go to the end customer that get assembled. And if there's warranty issues, if there's fallout at the customer base, we just need a single serial number. We can blow all the way back through each of those subcontractors, suppliers, and ourselves, production processes, all the way back to the root resin of material that was ordered on which part number with which lot number, so then the supplier can root cause those issues. And honestly, with those, or just with a few clicks of a button and running a couple reports. So Cloud ERP for EG Industries has been a huge benefit in automating our data input and reducing the manual transactions and the tribal knowledge thinking in our company. So that was our impact, and this is my 11th implementation of Plex. So if there's any questions for myself or Jennifer that anybody has in regards to implementations or standard use of best practice use of a cloud-based ERP, I'd be more than happy to answer those.
Thank you both for that information. That was a very, very good webinar, very good information. We are going to have Q&A. If anybody has any questions, you can submit those through your screen. You should have a control panel there. We'll wait just a few seconds to see if any questions come in. I'm going to ask a question here as we're waiting to see if any more come in from the audience. Jennifer, where would you recommend a customer or someone who's looking at ERP if they're interested in bringing a third-party consultant into the process? Where in the process should they do that, or what would be advisable?
I would maybe start with looking at the different software providers. A lot of software providers have partners that they work with specifically that know that they do an accurate and successful deployment. So I would start with reaching out to your software companies and finding if they have specific partners that they work with. That way you can kind of get to the root source of who that they trust that would actually deploy or implement that software.
Tony, I have a question for you. You've done many ERP implementations, as you mentioned. What do you think top 2 or 3 that make an ERP implementation successful? What are the keys to success?
Well, there's a few. And each facility, all 11 were very different. So going in with the idea that each implementation is going to be the exact same way is not realistic. But what I would say, number one, is the facility that you're implementing the ERP is the team that you have defined has to have complete ownership. They have to have the capacity to support an implementation. So a lot of times your team leads or your A players have the most on their plate. They typically are the best ones you want leading the implementation, but I would highly recommend that you backfill those A players and take some stuff off of their plate because if those A players don't have the time to dedicate to implementing an ERP software, then you're going to struggle. And the other piece to that is successful implementation is ownership by that local team. But other thing is definitely have your processes defined before you implement the software, so you kind of know exactly what path you're going to try to implement the software in instead of doing the engineering afterwards. That would be another thing that I would recommend is definitely having your best practice processes defined before you try to configure the system to meet your needs. And then the last thing I would mention would be in selecting an ERP software, Jennifer mentioned in the Gartner Group report, is defining what your gaps are and what your needs are and expectations, and then evaluating software based upon what your business needs are.
Very good. It doesn't look like we have any other questions. Thank you both again for this great webinar presentation. Lots of great information here. Like I mentioned, we will be putting this out on our website later this afternoon, so if anybody is interested in revisiting the information or want to share it with somebody, you'll be able to do that at revolutiongroup.com. If you have further questions or would like to discuss ERP more after we end the webinar here, you are more than welcome to contact us at Revolution Group. Our information there is up on the screen for you. We'd love to talk to you about ERP and what you can do to move to a cloud-based system. Once again, thank our presenters. Thanks everyone for attending, and everybody have a great day.
Thanks, Ruby.
Thank you.